Welcome to another lesson from esaudio.net. We are going to continue working on relative pronouns, and today we are going to focus on relative pronouns after prepositions. And we'll begin with quién or quiénes. Quién or quiénes can be used after a preposition if the antecedent is a person. In other words, we are not going to use quién or quiénes to refer to an object, for instance. That is the man who we talked about. The women that I study with are nice. What we can see here in these sentences is that in English we have the relative pronoun who, and we also have a preposition. We have the relative pronoun that, and we also have a preposition. Let's see how we say this in Spanish. Ese es el hombre de quien hablamos. If you pay attention to the wording, you will see that in Spanish, actually we say about who. De, which is about, quién es who. That is the man about who we talked. In the same way here, las mujeres con quienes estudio son simpáticas. Again, if you pay attention to the wording that we use in Spanish, what it really says is the women with who I study are nice. And if we pay attention to the first sentence, we will see that here it says quién, because the antecedent is singular. It's one person, el hombre. However, in the second case, we're using quiénes, the plural form, because we are referring to las mujeres. The antecedent is plural. Now let's have a look at el qué and el cuál. El qué and el cuál can refer to any antecedent, person or not. For instance, the man who you work for is tall. El hombre para el que, o el hombre para el cual trabajas, es alto. As we saw before, the wording that we have in Spanish is the man for who, but in this case we can use el que or el cual. We said that this can refer to a person or not. In this case, para el que o para el cual trabajas es alto. And in this case we use el because we are talking about a man. La mujer para la que o para la cual trabajas es alta. If we look at this, it's a very similar sentence. We just changed el hombre and instead we use la mujer. But we can see that here, instead of saying el, it says la. La mujer para la que o para la cual trabajas es alta. Now, los hombres con los que o con los cuales estudias son altos. The men you study with are tall. Again, in this case, we can see that we are talking about hombres, plural and masculine, and here we use con los que or los cuales estudias son altos. And in the same way, las chicas con las que estudias o con las cuales estudias son bonitas. The girls you study with are beautiful. And again, we see how this changes depending on the antecedent. El que or el cual for a singular masculine noun, la que or la cual for a singular feminine noun, los que or los cuales for a plural masculine noun, and las que or las cuales for a plural feminine noun. And something interesting to note here is that in most cases, in most conversations, we're going to stick to el que, la que, los que, and las que. Although el cual, la cual, los cuales, and las cuales could be perfectly used, this applies mostly to very formal situations. In everyday conversation, this is not so common.